Howdy and welcome back to These Two Hands Homestead. We're going to get right into the next phase of this rabbit hutch build. We are going to work today on the waste elimination system that leads into the guttering, and we're going to get the construction mesh flooring down. I think we should be able to do that here not too long. Get that done today and we'll move on to the next step after that. A few things you're going to need to do this. Corrugated sheet metal. Every good homestead's got a pile of this stuff laying around. Our homestead came with a few. You'll need a piece of colored chalk to make your lines to cut on. Headphones for sure, because you're going to damage your hearing. And always when you're working with sheet metal, always have some good leather gloves. This stuff is very sharp, and if you run your hand across it the wrong way, it doesn't care. It will take your fingers right along with it. For our circular saw here, we're going to use this to cut the metal. I've taken the blade, and you can see the teeth here are facing backwards. So when this saw runs, it's going to spin this way, and these teeth, these carbide teeth, basically just act as an abrasion against the metal, and it heat cuts all the way through the metal. And so this is a good way to not have to go out and spend, $30-40 on a circular saw metal cutting blade. You just take an old junk circular saw blade that you had before that doesn't cut wood very well anymore, flip it around and you're good to go. So for the measurement we're going to use on these, this is where that extra board on the back is going to come into play I was telling you about before. We're going to take and we're going to measure from the top of that board to the bottom of our cage board here, and that's going to be right about 24 3/4 inches. So that's what we're going to make these panels, because we want them to run from the front here to right off the back, so that when we put the guttering system on the back, all of the waste is going to fall down through the construction mesh, hit the sheet metal, and run off into the gutters. Those gutters are going to deliver it down into a central collecting point where you can put a bucket underneath to collect all your rabbit waste, and then you can take that and either bag it up and sell it, put it in your garden, whatever you want to do with it. One of the benefits of rabbit waste is it's a great ready-to-use fertilizer. It's a cold fertilizer, meaning that it doesn't need to age. It's not too high in ammonia or nitrates. It's right at that perfect point where you can put it directly in on your plants. They're going to love it. They're going to get nutrients out of it, and it's going to feed them without burning up the roots. So let's get started. We'll make a few cuts on this. We'll come back and we'll catch you up when we're ready to fasten these in. Alright, so we've got our pieces cut. Each of the different cages in there is going to take one full length of sheet tin wide by 24 3/4 inches long, and then we also have this piece that's 24 1/4 inches long, cut down by a little over 9, or right around 9 inches. They're going to kind of fit together just like this, and that will span the length of the underside of each of these cages. So we're going to go ahead and start popping those in real quick. Easiest way to do this is to start on the back side. Get it all fastened in, and then come around to the front side, because you're going to have to screw upwards from the front side. It just makes it a lot easier if you start in the back, work to the front, so you're not having to try to hold stuff up and screw stuff in as much and not wanting it to go back and forth. So we'll get that done, and then we'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, so we've got these in here. I used sheet tin because it's going to stand up to the little bit of acidity that there is in rabbit urine. Their poop really not very acidic, but their urine will be. The rabbits are going to do their business here, and it's going to roll down this sheet metal into a gutter system in the back, and then those gutter systems will all pipe down at one end to some T's and a vertical piece of PVC that'll go into a bucket. That way it makes it nice and easy. Now our next step, we're going to get some construction mesh. Okay, so this is our construction mesh, also known as hardware cloth. This is 1/2 inch mesh. It should be right about the right size to let the rabbit poop through, but not to let baby bunny feet through. If you get bigger hardware cloth with bigger holes, you do run a risk of, once the little baby bunnies get out, getting a toe caught in here and broken, and that's not good for them. None of them like that. We don't want to be cruel to any of the animals. It's going to be a simple lay-in. I'm just going to open this up here. Again, you want to be careful. This stuff is just as razor sharp as that sheet metal is, especially on the edges. If you need a little more dexterity to get the retention wire out, you can leave a glove off to do that, but I would not handle this for very long without at least some sort of glove on, because this stuff will tear you up big time. It'll look like somebody's cat just attacked you. Getting done with all this. Ask me how I know. Anyway, we're going to take this wire off of here. This is just what holds it into a nice circle that they put on it at the store. This wire comes in handy, so you probably want to save this back. We're not going to use it on this project, but I have used this wire many a times to patch up a small wire job or to hang something with. It's just a nice lightweight wire. Can't go wrong. And you don't have to go out and buy any when you need it. So we're, see, there it goes. I would have just tore my hand up. Okay, so this is a nice easy installation. All we're going to do, lay that in here, put it flat up against that wall, and we're going to roll it out, and we're going to staple this in with some crown staples, making sure that we keep this good and tight here. And then once this is in, we'll see how strong it holds. If we have to, we may put a couple small supports in the middle here, or one going down the center this way. We'll just see how that goes. I think this should be durable enough for what we need without it sagging too much in the middle, but we'll see. So we'll get that done and we'll get back with you. Okay, so we've got this in here. I think it's going to be fine. We've got a little bit of flex in that, but that's okay. That's not going to hurt anything. Just to fasten this in, I just use a standard crown stapler. You can buy one of these cheap at Harbor Freight. I think when I bought this, it's been probably 7 or 8 years ago at Harbor Freight, it was like 45 bucks. It had gone up a little bit since then. And then the crown staples I used are 3/4 inch by 1/4 inch 18 gauge crown staples. They're what fits this. They're about 3/4 inches in penetration. So I just fasten it every so often. No rhyme, no reason. Just every so often, every probably 3 or 4 squares there, all the way around. That gives it a good firm foundation in there and hold it in. So that's it for this step. The next step we're going to do will be installing the wire on top of each of the cages. And in order to do that, I'm probably going to have to take the back screws back out of this because I got ahead of myself. I forgot that I had to do that. So we'll get that done, and we'll come back and show you what that looks like before we move on to putting on the sides and the back. Okay, so we've got our construction mesh put on here and our top wire put on here, as well as our sheet metal for drainage. I was hoping to be able to get the PVC put on here, but we didn't get as much done as I'd hoped. If you come in here and look, I'll show you how this is going to kind of work. The rabbits are going to live in this space here, and as they go to the bathroom, it falls down on the PVC, or sorry, on the sheet metal, which will roll down into a PVC gutter system that we'll work on next time, which will funnel it all down to one end and then down into a bucket. This top mesh here isn't, I mean, it's got some pretty big holes. It's not designed to do much of anything other than keep the rabbits in and the predators out. What it's going to do here is just make sure that there's nowhere that they can squeeze through here or that something can squeeze in. Anything small enough to fit through this hole is probably going to be too small to eat the rabbits. Anything big enough to eat the rabbits is going to be too big to fit through the holes. So when you're fastening this in on top, again, you don't have to go crazy. You're not trying to build Fort Knox here. I just use those same crown staples, and I put one about every 4 or 5 lengths here, just enough to hold it down good and solid. The bottom is where you want to be a little more diligent and putting more stuff in, because this is where all of your weight's going to be applied. When the rabbit's in here in their nesting box and their food and water, if you have food and water inside, salt and mineral blocks, if you put those in there, different various things are going to be putting downward pressure on this construction mesh. And so you want to make sure you've got it fastened down real well. Next video, we're going to come and we'll be putting the sides and the back on. And with that, I'm hoping to actually be able to get to the guttering and put it on there and show you how that's going to work. I know I've been talking about it. It's kind of one of the defining features of this rabbit hutch that I have designed here. So I'm really looking forward to showing you guys how that's going to work. But we'll have to pick that up on the next video. Thanks for coming along with us. Hope you enjoyed this project. Keep following along with us as we finish it up, and let me know what you think.
Thumbs up, dude.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.